Hello there, beloved Ascension pioneers, beautiful family of light, and welcome to this short update. In this update, I want to talk about the changes that we're undergoing as a growing family of Ascension pioneers. So you have found yourself on this path. You've seen that this is not a static path, that this is a path of constant change. Death and rebirth are going to really pay an important visitation in your life ever so often. And I want to talk about some changes that are really going on my own path and how Spirit guided me to recently share and really move up the higher octave of being. So as you know, I've been doing personal readings and sessions for a while now. So lately I've been undergoing some of these changes, and all of a sudden I've been shown through Spirit and in my own feeling, there's this feeling arising that I'm no longer going to be doing personal readings, that now it's time to have an upgrade, you know, like these personal services I've been offering for a while now. And then, you know, if you're really attached to what we're doing because we have this sense of, okay, I established this and that, so it's obviously how things are going to go. With our Ascension, no to that, because it's never going to be so static. If you're a pioneering soul, that means your path is going to be constantly restructuring itself. You're going to be shedding those layers. It doesn't mean that what you've been doing so far was wrong. It's all a part of the process. It's steps that are leading you to more of that unfolding within the layers of the onion that eventually lead you to that own inner crystalline core. So I've been doing these last readings this week, and all of a sudden I have this feeling, I'm not going to do them anymore. Wait a minute, you know, there's so many things I'm guided to do in the new, so how can I keep up with the old? Because it doesn't go, you know, your body is just, it cannot process so much, you know, and you eventually have to let go of some of the old things so you can move on to the new. And I feel all of us are experiencing this on some level or another on our Ascension path. So for me, this path for a while has been about building. I've been building these structures and foundations so that I could really eventually start working on these higher refined levels. And you've seen my previous video on our angelic human nature. This is what Spirit guides me to do. I've started last fall with Serapina Light and its reemergence on the web with my webpage Serapina Light this spring in March. So what comes out as a continuation is to set aside time for personal readings, more with compensation, with more of the teaching, because I came here on this planet to share much of these sacred teachings, and a lot of people who have been already doing my mastery courses and cosmic convergence are seeing the work that's behind this. They're seeing the devotion, and they're seeing that it's time to get further on and to get activated. So I feel recently not so much to be posting online like Facebook and the social media structures, because a lot of times I see people that share there is just no depth. I see there's a lot of this constant recycling of information there. Nothing really changes. And I feel you have to be, as an Ascension pioneer, really brave to go through those routines and develop something new. So I remember this in the beginning of the week when I posted my weekly Spirit guidance. I had a dream, and I was dreaming of myself teaching. The things that I know, I was verbally not just writing them up, you know, I was really teaching them via class. And I had this knowing, okay, usually I see myself in the dreams doing something that eventually I'm going to start to embody. And you know, our path of Ascension is all about conscious embodiment. Even with our angelic nature, you know, it's time that we start to embody those light quotants and start to become that in the physical. I'm going to explain about this process further on, just stay with me. But I want to say something that it's really been in my heart, because if you invest so much energy in something and then you're going to be attached to it, the way of the outcome, and the time comes to let it go, if you're not going to let it go, you're just going to keep repeating that old routine. And this is what Spirit constantly shows me, is you got to be brave. This is not a path for everybody. Not everybody is going to be willing to constantly expand. You know, with me, sometimes comes a month that I really invest all my energy into something, and then the next month I'm already going to be asked to release it because it already fulfilled its purpose. So this is how it is with the nature of constant expansion. And with you probably being on this path as an Ascension pioneer, if you're one of those souls, you know how it is. And you know that you can't stay attached to things. So what Spirit guides me is what I'm going to be doing in the future is I'm going to be developing more of these courses, because it's time for me to finish the mastery courses. There's 2 more coming up. So the latest one coming up will be about our crystalline nature, and then the last one will be about mastering polarity and our twin soul nature. So this is the 7th initiation of our journey within the mastery courses. A lot of people have been already sharing the feedback. They love the courses. They're already noticing results. So if you're interested, go tune into that. There's a couple of people who said that only after taking the courses they're starting to more deeply get what I'm saying in my videos, because my videos that are free and publicly shared for everybody can only go as much into that, because you need to become an adept of this higher spiritual path to actually, you know, walk it through. I had a dream years ago when I saw myself, Spirit showed me, only, you know, digging into those rainbow beads, and only a few of them was left. And Spirit said, you know, in the past there were only a few initiates who really were guided to go deeper and deeper. And for those of you who know that this is probably you as well, I really invite you to join me, because there's going to be a lot of changes. You know, I can't keep doing things the way I used to do them. My wings have expanded so much. I'm feeling the need to expand more, to go out into the world more with my energy. You know, the frequency of my voice is changing constantly, and it's just profound. You know, I can't explain. It's just Spirit wants you to go somewhere. You got to become an empty vessel. So the next thing, beside the courses and cosmic convergence and the galactic readings, I also want to start teaching more how you yourself can do these galactic attunements, how you can do your own galactic activations by following a few basic principles that I discovered myself, what Spirit showed me. So in the times coming, I'm going to be not just doing these readings myself on a higher level, but I'm going to actually be teaching for those of you who want to move into this galactic path of expansion too. So this will be coming up too. And the latest step I've been seeing and feeling is to actually start a school, a self-mastery school about our celestial nature. So this will be a celestial, angelic self school of mastery, and it's gonna probably be based as a typical school. You know, there's a couple of people coming, creating a classroom, and there we're going to have meetings, and there's going to be homework and everything, because I really want to work with people who want to work on themselves. You know, words are just words. It's plain information. It's not enough. Spirit constantly shows me you got to move on higher. You know, we got to activate the angelic self, and then it's time to embody it. You know, it's envision, and then it's materialize and embody. So this is what I'm being guided towards. Personal readings, as you know, it's a level when you can help people only in the individual level, but I want to work more with groups now, with those devotees who have a certain energy essence that they feel willing and ready to step into this higher embodiment. There's already a few people who already feel this inclination and feel pulled towards this. And I feel, you know, doing personal readings, I rather would show you and teach you how to do this for yourself, because every one of us will start to develop our own teaching techniques. Like I'm starting with Serapina light, sound healing, frequency attunement, which comes through my own uniqueness. It's the way it flows through me, and it's not going to flow this way through anybody else. You know, that's why it's important that we start to activate that uniqueness within us. So, you know, I would love to more teach, you know, on that note, to show you to how to do these readings yourself, how to do your own guidance, that it's within purity, that you really know it's Spirit. And with the angelic celestial self school of mastery, my main desire is to know our multidimensional purpose all the time, to stay in that activated state, because a lot of the times masters, they couldn't always withhold that 7th density, the 7th kingdom, the heaven on earth embodiment. They kind of like falling in and out of it. So they lost their body so they could move into spiritual ascension. But our goal now, with a lot of us now, is physical ascension, which means that we have that state as an attainment. You don't just have momentarily enlightened states, because there's already potential of enlightenment. It always is. It's there. It's just you decide when you're going to consciously step into it. And true enlightenment in the physical expression and feeling means that you can feel it at every circumstance, at every corresponding relationship. You know, with everything you do, with any kind of environment, pure, impure, whatever it is, you are feeling the state of your enlightenment. And this is what I would be going into with initiates who would join that school. And this would be coming later in the fall, because in the summer I need to prepare this. I need to take some time off to delve deeper into this, because these are things that require dedication and work. And also, the desire is to feel on subtle levels behind everything that takes place in our human embodiment a deeper level. I'm going to tell you one example because I always have this, I think I'm just doing something random and that I always have this spirit explanations when I'm not even asking for them. They just happen. And I would love to guide you through these celestial schools to live in that state, because it's a beautiful state to know your spirit, to know your purpose on multidimensional levels all the time. Not just what you think you're doing physically, because in the personal readings, people used to ask me, why am I here for to do physically? And this is only the surface level that I didn't come to work on. I came to work with people who are going to be higher devotees of spirit, who are going to move into deeper initiations. So then themselves becoming this angelic human celestial frequency and flesh, they're going to be going out into the world and spreading this with others. And the young ones, oh my gosh, they're so enthusiastic about this, and I'm loving this because I think there's so much to do. And I've said this a while ago, it's time to move from words and recycling of the same old information to the new. Some of us are going to be doing that. There's those who won't, and it's all a beautiful process. And if you feel guided towards that, then this is a part of your journey as well. So I'm going to give you one example for myself. It's just recently we went to visit this beautiful castle above this lake. It's a very known touristic spot here where I live. And we came up there, and there was also a museum open. I wasn't there since I was, I don't know, maybe in high school. It was a very long time ago, and we were just guided to go. And then the first chamber there was full of stones and crystals from our own land here in Slovenia. And before we went there, I always have guidance. I can't believe, because when you're tuned to this, it's always so loud. Because there's these foreigners, just after we parked, they stopped us and they asked, where's the castle? Where do we come to the castle? And they were totally off, and I had to direct them to the right path. And I was thinking, Spirit really wants me to go to the castle, because as I awakened, my first thought was that place, and I didn't even consider that. I go there quite often, a few times in a year maybe. And then I thought, wow, I'm going to go to the castle today after years and years. Why not, And I just felt, okay, there must be a reason. And the guidance was so loud because it was, where's the path towards the castle? And I knew I'm supposed to go there. And nothing major happened. We went for lunch. We went to see those crystals. I was overly excited. I photographed them. I put them on my Instagram page. And then today I was running, and when I run, I always get these attunements and knowingness and just pure awareness. And I said, well, but what was really the meaning if it was so guided? Because when something is really loud in the messages, you kind of need to be there. This is a part of your angelic celestial heritage here in this physical embodiment. So Spirit says, well, because you needed to connect with those crystals and you put a certain energy in them, but you're not consciously aware of that. And then the people who come there, they're going to connect to that frequency, and this is just how it is. We work with the crystalline frequency. I'm like, wait a minute, that's just so natural, We don't always feel that on our human level, but a part of our angelic human self-heritage is knowing this. It's being in knowingness of your purpose. A lot of things we did before was unconscious, but your celestial, human, angelic self, when you embody it, you're going to be constantly in knowing what you're doing. Maybe not right away when you're guided, but after you let's say you do something, you're guided to go somewhere, you have a profound knowing, and that knowing just deeply roots you into the planet, into your planetary mission, which is expanding to the stellar mission, and to interstellar, and then intergalactic, and then galactic and universal. So it's just how it goes. So in these classes, then we would really meet those individuals. We would have certain sessions, and there would be audio recordings for each attunements that Spirit would pass on to me. And this is something that excites me. We always have to follow our joy, and it's the right way to go. So if you wanted to have readings for me, I'll no longer be doing that. But I saw there's a lot of young ones now that are expanding and starting to do readings, and they're really good at it. So, we always kind of we follow the next step of our initiation. And when something's no longer ours, it's going to be very loud. So what happened to me was, this guidance that was just so clear. It couldn't be clearer. Because just the same day that I got this epiphany that I'm no longer be doing the readings, my crystal, my higher dimensional crystal called Dambarite, which I got as a gift from someone who sent me this package full of higher dimensional crystals. And this is when I began doing this work of service in this way. And I used it always, I had it around me when I sourced the readings for Spirit. And then on that same day, I wanted to put, the crystal pendant around me, and I noticed it's broken. When did it broke? I didn't even treat it in a bad way. It didn't even fall anywhere. I couldn't get it because the wrapping around it was just so strong. And I didn't get how did it break, you know? And this was a clear message, you know, this path is over. And then the crystal fell into two. They almost looked like a twin essence. So it spoke more about connecting with others and relationship energy and partnership. So this is something that I feel it's important to seek out those people who we can create something with, not just blah, 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 but really, really enthusiastically, with passion, devote ourselves to something of a higher nature, those of us who are on this path. So if you feel you're one of those beings, just follow that voice. You know, maybe I'll meet you in my class, who knows? It's going to come up in the fall, you know, just like here in our lands. School starts in the fall, and this is, I feel, we're going to be starting this. And you know, I constantly get the same messages. It's time, you know, you cannot wait any longer. We wait, you know. I'm going to give you one example. What Spirit always tells me is, people always say, oh, the galactics, you know, spiritual guides, White Brotherhood of Light, cosmic beings, our stellar brothers and sisters. Yeah, we have this image of them. And then we go about our daily lives, still playing at the same old frequency, participating in the same old habits, same old frequencies, eating lower dimensional food, eating the energy off each other. And then we actually really worship these beings who are so pure and so light, instead of knowing that we are the ones who need to become as them. They are the role models, just like we're becoming the role models for those who are following us on this planet, or we're leaving the legacy. And for your children, you know, any one of you who has children, you probably want to have a better world for them. You want them to have a better future, and we're going to build it for them. So it starts from the on high to embodiment. That is why we had to have a lot of initiations and activations and encodements and recodements and repatterning and cellular reprogramming, so that we could come to the state when we really embody our pure gem self. This is that diamond frequency within us, when you really get to that core. I remember a few years back, I had this session, and somebody told me, you're going to be preparing all this time for something greater, and you're going to be famous in a way, and you're going to be doing these, something you're going to meant to be doing by this and that year. And Spirit always tells me that's the past, thinking of those linear things. You know, if you are the one who has been working with the energy of prophecy, or somebody telling you by a certain date something is about to happen, and then you wait, you just passively wait instead of living each day as it is now, then we're going to create that, more of that. We're always creating that which we are energetically investing into. So I just know that my path, I got to surrender, I got to listen to Spirit. I know I had so much positive feedback on my readings. People really loved them. It helped them a lot. But, you know, I'm sure that if you still feel guided to have readings, you either will find people who do readings still, there's beautiful people doing readings, or you will move up with me to engage in these higher things. I have self-mastery courses, I have cosmic convergence workshops, and this will be the next step, as well as teaching these things about how to activate yourself within your own galactic signature, your own galactic path, even maybe starting to walk that path and help others to do that, because I don't want to just do it for others. I want to pass this on. There's a greater legacy when we, you know, kind of, instead of making bread for others, we kind of teach them to make it themselves, so they know how to make it. So when they're gone, you know, they'll know how to make it. That was an old story that goes something like this. So I think that if you're guided, you can still have galactic signature readings with me. I think each month, except if I'm on a really, really tight schedule, a holiday, I will be doing 7 of these readings. When they're going to be available again, there's going to be posted on my galactic signature page and Serapina Light. And my art is also going to expand. So instead of doing these things I did before, I'm only going to work with golden light frequency, because this is the seraphim frequency. It's how it flows through. And I already have my own lineage, you know, legacy that I have through my line, a collection with the seraphim malas, you know, the necklaces and the light grids. And I'm going to start to add circlets, because I'm just about to source them now, and many things. And this is the level, you know, this is, for me, it feels joyful. And we always need to serve on the level that we are activated and embodied at. Other things just feel like scraping, you know, scraping something on the surface. So don't be the one, if you feel changes coming in your life too, don't be the one who's scraping the old. Don't worry if you feel that you need to, you know, to owe somebody something because you've been doing something for so long. Just recently I've seen this beautiful video from 2 people, Cosmic Evolution, I think, who have music. They're from Australia. They're this twin soul band. speak and talk and, you know, sing about love. And they always say this. I just recently saw them perform online, of course. And they said something in the video that they made about, you know, the classroom they made about twin soul nature. And they said, you know, the joy and the purpose is to do something you love and to create that. If something no longer resonates, it's not your path anymore. Just don't feel obliged to do it. Just move on. So this is what Spirit guides me to do from now on. I'm really excited about these changes, and it's going to be a lot of work, as always, a lot of devotion, but lots of joy, hopefully, too, because it's something, when it's really aligned with us, it always will bring us joy. So when we follow the line of joy, we're always on the right path. And that's it. It's as simple as that. So, my beloveds, this is as much for today. I'm going to go enjoy the space and source some beautiful creations, and I'll talk to you soon, whenever, as I can, as when I'm guided. So much love, wisdom, and power, and take care wherever you are in the world. Love you so much. Bye-bye.